Every morning on Moa Island, people go fishing. Before the sunrise and after too, they set nets and throw lines to catch fish, all kinds that live on the reef. A young man lives here. His name is Gelam. He is named after his ancestor Gelam, who lived here a long time ago. This young man is a very good fisherman. Every morning he goes fishing. He pulls his dinghy out and sets out past the reef towards Nagi to go to deeper water to bring fish home for his family. Below his dinghy, in the clear waters, he sees jellyfish, bluebottles, kibim. Sometimes he sees turtles, dugongs, and sharks. Today, as he goes out in his dinghy, flying fish jump out of the sea, splashing his face with salt water. As they spread out their wings and fly past him, they make him laugh. His heart is happy, and he sings as he goes in his dinghy out to sea. A long way away, in another part of the world, in the Indian Ocean, another boat is net fishing. The fishermen catch fish to sell in the cities in other countries. They set very big long nets. A big storm is coming. The fishermen come back to pull their net up, but the seas are too rough and they lose their net in the crashing waves. The storm catches the net and washes it into the currents that bring the net into the seas of the Torres Strait. The net drifts for weeks, still fishing by itself, catching all kinds of fish, turtles, dugongs, sharks. The net drags along the reef, catching and damaging the coral. The currents bring the nets all the way to the waters around Moa Island.
The young man sees the first stars twinkle above him and the silver moon rising over the sea. It's time to head home. He has plenty of white fish, gai dubui, to bring to his family for kai tonight. He turns his dinghy around and heads across the seas back to Moa. He can feel a wind starting up. He smells the rain in the wind. He knows a storm is coming. Suddenly the dinghy stops. The prop is caught. The dinghy is trapped in something. He can't see what it is. In the fading light, the young man can't see the big net floating below. He can't see the dugong and turtle that have died in it. The net floats like a big ghost below the dinghy. He reaches down and feels around the prop and knows a net has tangled the prop. He is worried. He won't get home. He works around quickly to untangle the thick net. It frees the prop and the outboard starts again. He is lucky this time. He remembers seeing net like this before on the island, washed up onto the reef and wrapped around the mangroves. The young man thinks these nets are dangerous. He needs to go quickly before the storm comes. He says to himself, tomorrow I'll come back to look for this net.
That next day, the young man took his dinghy way out across the reef to where he got caught the night before. He looked into the water, and there below him he could see the big net. But wait, look, there was something else caught too. A big shark. It was alive, flashing, trying to get free. But every time it swung its tail, it got more and more tangled. Poor thing, it was getting weaker. In his heart, the young man felt sorry and worried for the shark. He knew he had to cut it out of the net, or else it would die. The shark was long way down. It was bigger than the young man, bigger than the dinghy, but the young man was not afraid. The young man was a good diver. He took a deep breath and dived down to the shark. He tried to cut the shark from the net, but it thrashed hard, and his breath was running out. He swam back to the surface, took another big breath of air, and dived down again. This time he cut the shark loose. It swam free. He hoped it would be all right, and so he gave it blessing and wished the shark good luck. The young man didn't want to see another shark caught like this, or the mangroves to die from this net, washing up and getting tangled in the branches. He'd heard stories from his family about turtles and dugongs being caught in these nets. How he had seen with his own eyes just how dangerous these nets could be when they drifted around on their own. He wanted to get this net out of the sea. He dived down again. He pulled his net to his dinghy and climbed in. He thought about this big net and where it might have come from and who might have owned it. But what could he do with this big net? He thought hard. Maybe he could give it to his father, an uncle. They could use some of the net to make bags, to put their crayfish in when they go fishing, or maybe when they go diving for trochus shell. He knew his auntie made baskets from the nets to carry things in. Sometimes people brought them too. Maybe she can use this net. One of my uncles is a ranger. He'll know how to pull this net out when I get it back to Moa. So he turned the dinghy towards Moa, taking the big net back with him to get the net out of the sea forever.